This is just AMZN on Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. So we did it. We got down to the 100, got a little bit close, didn't actually touch it exactly, stayed a little bit above these highs, but we definitely got a bounce today. So it was looking at one point like 5 bearish days in a row. And so let's dive into the 5-minute and see how we got this kind of a candle today, because it was a big mover. So over here on the 5-minute, we initially sold off. Came down a little bit lower pretty early on in the morning, not even an hour after the market was open. And we started to get a little hammer here. This starts to look like a double bottom. And with Amazon, sometimes it does take a little while for these reversals to happen. So all of this was kind of like a neckline retest. I guess it kind of broke down again. But what was really cool is you had a really good oversold signal on the RSI, kind of similar to over here, but this is just too early in the day. It wasn't shaping up like a double bottom kind of shape here that I like to see. It was making some extra lows. I was doing this, but it was a little bit of signaling. It's like, oh, we're really low to start of the day. I wonder if we'll actually reverse, or maybe we can actually touch the 100 a little bit further down over here. We didn't. So this was the low. This is where we got really close to 100. And then over here, I gotta delete that. Over here, we just started to roll over. And at this point, it's like, we've really been selling off for a while. Here comes the rally. So like I said, we got the oversold here, and it started to bounce. And then pretty quickly got back above the 21 and actually didn't touch the 21 the rest of the day. It touched the 21 with 1 candle and 2 candles. I don't think it touched on that one. Let's see before I claim that, right? Nope, I'm going to say, okay, so 1 candle, 2 candles actually touching the 21. And we had some really good opportunities to get in. So even if you didn't like buy the bottom or buy off of this RSI signal, we got kind of a stair step here and it broke out. And then we just kind of grinded higher. And this wasn't the best place to be getting in because, okay, we're right back up at the open resistance, getting back into these levels. It could roll back down, touch the 21, but then we just went sideways here and did another stair step and then broke out. And all the while, we just kept trending with the 5. And when it does that, obviously after this kind of a big reversal, it can really just continue. So let's take a step back out and look at the options. We were getting a similar signal with the oversold RSI and the overbought RSI on the 3400 put. And you can see this was really not basing because it rolled over from here, but all of this was just going so sideways. It wasn't actually significantly increasing. We weren't starting to get a big push up with the put. You know, as this is starting to sell off again, it really was really range bound here. Obviously, if we zoom in, there is some movement in here, but it really just, it couldn't take out these earlier levels, even though it was coming right back down into them. So some of the premium had just been sucked out and wasn't going to get added back in by the market makers. So, you know, you can kind of say they knew, or they had things priced here that they wanted the value of the put to just plummet. And it moved down faster here as this is rallying than the call was getting its premium back into it. So we're still quite a ways off. So we actually almost got in the money with the 3,400 put. So that means we're nearly 100 points away from the 3,500 call. And so it makes sense that this is going to move slower. But when these move slower, it gives you a lot of opportunities to just kind of see how it's going, see if I can get some tight ranges on these candles and just get into something, or look at an option that's closer. So in this case, this would have been that ideal setup, getting in this range when it's doing the stair step in here, trying to draw straight lines, sideways through here, and buying at 4, and a stop down at 3. So you had some range on that, or some room on that in case it were to pull back. And then a target, what's this, Wednesday? So a target of 7 right there. And it would have gotten there pretty quickly, and that would have been a good trade. Now you could have held on to that, and this breakout from this little stair step here doesn't look like much, but on this option, it's much bigger. We're moving significantly closer to the 3,500 strike. We may even get there tomorrow, Thursday. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We could roll back down, pull back a little bit, get back into the 21. We could retest an area like this or an area like this. Probably this one would be more likely, this kind of open price. Where do we actually open? 34.42.52. Okay, so that's really where we did this stair stepping right through here. So if we were to pull back further into that level and get a bounce, we could really rally out of that if we've really reversed here. But you can see there were definitely opportunities to get in. After we had the this base here, we did have a little bit of the double bottom shape on this option. And then you can always go out to next week's expiration and go out a little further, or maybe even the 3,500 next week. Let's take a look and see what that was doing, just to get a feel for it. So let's look at next week's. That's pretty good too. I like the RSI signal. That's actually really good. So this has the double bottom shape. It does have a little bit of a dip here. This is a little more expensive. Doesn't quite get down to $10. So let's go out a tiny bit more to 50. So 35.50. The volume's a little bit low here through the reversal, but I really like that you have, you can call it a double bottom and then a retest, or this is really like an inverted head and shoulders shape, and it based really well. I don't know, I would have been alerted. Well, no, my alerts are based on this here. So if I was alerted here and then looked at this option, I probably would have kept an eye on this one. And then I think I would have been in, let's see, what was the low? 490. I think I would have been in here 5 or 550. As it's starting to move back up, probably, yeah, anywhere between 5 and 550 with a stop down at 450, because that's way below this low and you're still below this low, and it's showing you that you've got some RSI coming in here. So I probably would have been in this at 550, and then that would have been 850 for a target. It would have actually hit on this candle. This is one that, because it moved so well here, not that, like this, it moved really well. The RSI got the complete opposite. It was getting really overbought here. It's possible I would have hit that target and exited at 850 and then seen this go completely sideways and thought, well, maybe I can get back into this at 8. But I would have really wanted to see a touch of the 21. I don't think I would have gotten back in at 8, but that's, seeing this kind of sideways action on this option, getting in at 8 here, and then looking for another 3R up to 11, that would have been a great trade. That would have happened anywhere in this kind of time frame, like 30 minutes, making 3 Rs here, getting back in for another 3 Rs. I don't think I would have gotten in another time. I would have thought this was too extended, and staying above the 5 exponential for so long, I would have thought, oh, it's got to come back to the 21. And I would have missed this. At least I would have missed this last move. I may have missed this one, like all of this, and may have just gotten in off of this initial reversal. So yeah, next week's expirations, 35.50. You can go out another week. You can go out a little further with the options. You want to look for ones that have a little more volume. This is a little light right here, but as long as you have some really good candles and some good ranges to give you good entry and a good stops, you're not just getting wicked out. The spread was probably not that bad because you have a little bit of some gaps in here, but it did kind of base again, like all through here. It put in a pretty good base between like 5 and 550. Actually, no, 5. It was right around $5. So this was a really good base right around the $5 price. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, wait for that to kind of break out. 550 would have been kind of worst case. Best case would have been just getting at 5. And I don't know if that would have worked, just not knowing what the spread was on this candle, because this would have been that dipping candle, that kind of retest, and then it went off to the races from there. So, but yeah, that's next week's expiration, and you can go out even further, and you can go an option that's closer. So if we go back to the 3,500 for next week, this is the one that was a little more expensive down here, but gave you some opportunities to get into some of these candles over here. The range on these was about $1. The range on these was even better. These candles were even smaller. So this really was nice. Nice setups here. This is much more expensive. So you got to know, have the opportunity to lose more than just an R, more than just $100 if you're doing $100 risk on this, just because it's such more, it's more of an expensive option to be getting it at this price. So that's why I like the 35.50 a little bit more. I don't think the 35.25 would have had, no, there's like no volume here. So don't trade that one. I mean, you can, but that's on you. I've traded those and they don't usually work out that great. So 3,500 next week or 35.50. Back to this week, you probably could have done 34.50. How low did this get? Oh, 6 and 7s. Yeah, I like the prices in here. Getting in at like 7 when it's doing these dips. Let's see, that would have been right here. The low there was right around 7. Yeah, 34.50 would have been buying this at 7. That would have been ideal. I would have just blindly bought right here at 7. I like that entry at 7. I've got to study it a little bit more, but I've found sometimes when I've got those entries at 7, they just work better. I don't know what it is. Haven't figured it out yet, but buy at 7, stop at 6, set your target. Target would have been 10, would have hit here, would have taken that target off, gotten my stop up to 10 pretty quickly within, you know, half an hour here, and then just trailed up that stop, letting it go. And then I probably would have gotten, let's see, when it's getting back up into this high, I probably would have set that as the target. So 7, my initial target would have been 10, then probably bumped it out either to 15 to get 8 Rs or all the way up to like 17 to get 10 Rs, and would have been out somewhere through here. So this probably, if I was in at 7 on this, I would have been out, I think at 17. I think that's what I would have set up. But this is the one, like this is the kind of setup where it has the potential. We finally came down to the 21, or I'm sorry, we finally came down to the 100, shot right on through the 21 actually, but we already, we've been talking about coming down to the 21 for days. This is one where you can just let it run. Trail your stop up with the pivots. So each time it kind of goes sideways, you know, and it doesn't pull back, get your stop up a little bit tighter. So you're moving your stop from like 6 up to 10, up to 12, up to 15, up to 20, and you're just trailing it up, and it doesn't actually make like a significant lower low till all the way at the end of the day. So this is one, if you've got it in your plan to just get into something and trail your stop, you literally could have trailed your stop all the way up to probably 36, probably stay below that wick. So, okay, 35, and then just get out right before close. If it starts moving back too quickly, just get out on this candle. And I mean, you had the opportunity to get in at 7 and out at 37, and that's 30R. So the potential is definitely there. We'll see if we can have something else like that work tomorrow, because this is definitely looking like it's bouncing here. So we'll see what happens. Hope this helps. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.